So, we're in a 200-year-old farmhouse of
Mm-hmm.
Brian Williams. You've been in Japan for 38 years, you said,
Mm-hmm.
and you're probably the most well-known Western artist in Japan. You've pretty much accomplished almost everything that one can imagine. And your work's shown in the top department stores. Takashimaya, you're playing in a new show at the Kiyomizu Temple, correct?
Yeah, that's right. That's going to be special. But you're starting to embarrass me a little bit here.
So you've been highly successful. But
Yeah.
What do you think? What would you say your ultimate goal is as an artist?
My ultimate goal as an artist, and that's a really, really good question. And I started touching on it when I was talking about how I feel about this house. Life is art. I believe that life is art. And my ultimate goal as an artist is to live every day as a work of art, and if possible, every work of art, every day, should be a masterpiece. That's what I'd really like to do with my life, if possible. Always interesting, always new, never, you know, all just one pattern. Um, Fulfilling and responding to what's around me. I have other goals too, though. As I was answering the question, I was starting to think about them. I am a landscape painter. I love modern art. I actually did a number of abstract paintings. I did a commission for the University of California at Santa Barbara for the computer department. I did a mathematical landscape in the computer center using computer graphics. And I did kind of cubistic anti-war paintings. This was back during the Vietnam War. On another building in campus and on buildings near this in the town near the University of California at Santa Barbara, town called Goleta. So I tried all that stuff. I tried abstract art and I tried even conceptual art and sculpture, all kinds of things. But what I really realized is that I'm a landscape painter, and I'm a landscape painter because I love the landscape. Landscape, to me, as an animal, it says, you can survive here. In other words, it gives you hope. You look at a part of the Earth's surface and you think, I could live there. I can find food to eat and beautiful things to see. Maybe I could find someone to live with, and my children, if I had any, could survive here as well. This is all on an instinctive level. But I love landscape. The most interesting thing in my life so far is recently, as an artist, is here I was. I gave up any ideas of trying to be in the vanguard, being at the forefront of art, something new or original. I just wanted to paint landscape because it moved me. It made me happy. I had this need to paint a landscape. But in the middle of doing that, giving up any idea that I would do something original and unique in the history of art, I have done exactly that. And what I've done is liberated painting from a flat surface. Unfortunately, this is not exactly square, but flat surfaces, right angles, parallel lines, straight lines. And I've gotten all curvy and loopy, like this. See this painting here? If you see how it curves? It's not flat. The corners are not right angles. There are no parallel lines anywhere. I liberated myself from a flat surface, liberated myself from straight lines, parallel lines, square corners, right angles. And I did it not just to do something original, but because I had this realization that when we look at something, or when we're looking at things, we're always looking from one thing to the next. And when you look from one thing to the next, the sensation, as I look from you to my piano or over to your father over there, uh, I'm not looking in straight lines. The sensation is a parabolic, alternating convex, concave, curving flow. That is how it feels to look. We don't realize that because when we first started learning how to see, we're too young to remember. So the way it feels to look is as natural as having fingernails or skin,
So
or for some of us, hair.
the last time I saw you, we were in Washington D.C. at the home of Ken and Keo Hitch,
Yeah.
and you were displaying some of your new parabolic paintings at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and you explained that you set them up according to the movement of the eye, which I think you were just touching on a
Yeah.
little bit,
Yeah.
so that you look at the piece and your eye flows naturally from one side to the other. How do you decide, for example, the painting above, how do you decide how you want the viewer to uh, see this piece, and how do you want the
In other
viewer's
words,
eyes?
how do I decide how to configure the panel?
Correct.
Yeah. First off, there's no one answer because you can look every time. If you look at the same two things, every time you do it, your eye is going to move in a slightly different way. So it's not critical. What's critical is that the sensation of parabolic flow, alternating concave and convex, is there. But, for example, that's more distant, so it becomes smaller. And I'm looking down here, so this bells out like this. And then I look up into the distance over there, so the shape of the panel also, as I look up, the shape of the panel also expands upward. And as I swoop across the lake from the mountaintop, about 2,000, 3,000 feet up here on this mountain, looking down on Lake Biwa, the sensation of looking that way suggests it. The sensation itself suggests to me how this panel should be shaped. Well, let me go back a little bit and try and encapsulate what I mean about parabolic paintings. The paint expresses what you're seeing. The shape of the panel and the way it's curved expresses how your eye looked at that scene. So paint has always been used to describe or to express something seen, what you're seeing. But no one has ever tried to express how your eye moved when it looked at something, at least not in this particular way. I can think of some artists, like Thomas Hart Benton. His paintings are flat and they have right angles and they're straight lines, but they're very sinuous. And so he was feeling that. I'm sure he was feeling that, the way his eye moved. And he was trying to express the way his eye moved in the way he distorted the shapes on his canvas. Since I have distorted the canvas, I don't need to distort the shape. This is 200 plus degrees of visual field, but it's not like a fisheye lens. A fisheye lens, everything is really twisted to get it all onto one surface. But since the surface is curving, you don't need to twist the image.